Digital Strategy and Growth EMEA, and Manish VP Enterprise Network Business Europe and UK. Welcome, and first let's welcome Mr. Bhushal Patel onto stage. Thank you so much. Welcome.
We call my colleague Manish to take us through this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhushan. Thank you, Huawei, for inviting me to speak here on the MWC platform. And today I'm going to talk about the typical digital manufacturing journey that we are seeing across Europe and UK markets. So I'm based out in Madrid, and I take care of the network enterprise business for Europe and UK region. And here is where I keep talking to various manufacturing customers. And I will just pick up from where Bhushan left about the challenges that the typical manufacturing industry faces. And when we talk about smart, intelligent connectivity for their solutions, they, you hear them that they want to adopt the latest technology, but they are really not sure how to go about it. Now, this is a situation where I say that they need dependable communication, and that's where they have been like existing in the market right now, where you see that 100% of the reliable communication is a wired network. Now we are moving that from this corner to this corner, where we are trying to move in to complete smart intelligent connectivity, where there is a combination and a converge of the network architecture. So we have seen a situation where the industries that has been existing for the past 30-40 years, their architecture is mostly wired. Now, when we have seen that evolution before Industry 4.0, there was like a combination of 70% the wired network, and then a combination of Wi-Fi 4, Wi-Fi 5, and maybe some extent we have seen LTE, coming in and helping them. Now, as we go forward, from here, the more and more part is evolving towards a 6G, a Wi-Fi 6, and a 5G environment, which enables them high throughput, smart intelligent devices to connect and solve their problem. And this is what enables them to increase flexibility, reduce their operation costs. So for example, a robot, a few years back, their operating cost was as high as $18. That has come down, to $8. You talk about the compute storage cost, that has drastically come down. So everything is improving, and they want to latch onto this success and then take it from a journey where they can completely call themselves as Industry 4.0 leader. Now, they need a solution which is fast and solve a problem, and this is where Tech Mahindra is jointly having joint hands with Huawei to build out a smart solutions which can deliver Industry 4.0 roadmap to the end customer. Now, if you look at Industry 4.0 journey that we talk about customer, so if you look at the bottom, you will see these are the prominent drivers from the network side. We call it like now the manufacturing sector slowly moving towards the education. They want to create an edge where the severe or most complex compute is done at the edge itself. Now they are also transforming their LAN and OT infrastructure. And the convergence of both the OT and IT part is bringing a new challenge, which in terms of requires a very intensive data demand. WAN transformation is something that will happen in next 5 years, and here we are talking about a WAN transport network, which is typically moving from typical MPLS network to an SD-WAN environment, where the convergence, the cloud-based security, everything will come in. And then, we are also talking about the application transformation from their on-prem equipment to cloud. So all these things, if you see, this is driving the Industry 4.0 journey. And then there is a need of higher security. Then there is a need of higher mobility, because like, for example, AGV and other size, the data size and the data bandwidth. So to pull all this, you need a complete end-to-end solution, which actually enables you for a smart manufacturing. Now, if you look at what is the current situation they are. Now, current situation is that most of the manufacturing customers, they are having a multiple brownfield environment. Now, when they have this multiple brownfield facilities, they have a very complex multiple IT and OT structure. Now, this existing plant is, the network is not scalable. That is nowhere near that it can support the futuristic requirement of an AGV, AR, VR, smart operations. So they need a very good solutions, which is like their goal, that at the end of it, first of all, they have a scalable, future-proof ready network, which can be a bundle of converged Wi-Fi or 5G, and then it should be something that is connected back to intra-factories. And this is where we see that most of the manufacturing companies are driving towards a smart and intelligent solutions. Now, as we go across, this is easier said than done. Customer will say, a manufacturing customer will say that, okay, I have few networks, I have the OT devices, but I don't know how they will connect. And the question is whether I really need that now, or whether I should wait for 2 more years before I adopt that technology. So my answer and the proposal is that, don't worry, because we are with you. We have partners with strong partnership with OEMs, and we have a very excellent partnership with Huawei. And that's what we say, that you don't need to do a leap. You go step by step, and that's where if you look at their current environment, they have a closed loop control system, which is requiring a latency and very, very available sensitive. So that still continues to be on an Ethernet, and that continues to be there. We don't want to change it like all across that. We are proposing something that is completely wireless. Then we go on connect and collect. This is I will say that this is something that not dependent upon a wired network, but this is something that is available for a short movement, and that's where your Wi-Fi or typical LTE network coverage is good enough to actually support that function, where that reliability is not that sensitive. So that's where you can still work with that. Now there is over the top availability, where talking about AGV now, that as Bhushan has mentioned, that the 4th challenge, one of the 4th challenge was about the warehouse and the transport smart logistics. And when we say warehousing and the smart transport, imagine a AGV which is actually moving from one corner of the warehouse to an open warehouse, or to the exit point where it is going to be loaded to a cargo. Now this is a very large movement, and this is not possible through an internal, completely standalone capital network. And this is where you see that the network combination of a private LTE is required. That private LTE can be a private LTE, or it can be a combination of a public communication network. Now this is what exists, and we are not changing in anything to it. But if you look at from where we step into the 5G, is that we introduce 5G hotspots for a particular operation. Say for example, in a MRO, you need a smart, intelligent AR/VR lens. So in that case, we can create a 5G hotspot, and there you start building that. And the future goes to a real-time communication environment, where you are doing a real-time monitoring, you are doing a mobility. So that's like a 5G omnipresent plus Wi-Fi plus, I will say, 30 to 20% of your wired network. Now this is a typical solution that I want to bring in here, like how TechM and Huawei is collaborating. Now if you see that this is a wireless evolution approach for a manufacturing customer. Now there are 4 areas that you will see, 1, 2, 3, 4, particularly on the digital supply chain, on the digital productions, digital operations, and digital services. So all these services in terms of the stack, the application, the management, transfer, build, manage, upgrade is something that Tech Mahindra does for the customer, because we come from that domain. We have various domain who gives us that knowledge to build that platform. Now to run these 4 parts, you need a very robust private network, and that's where you see Huawei, coming up with a smart, intelligent connectivity solutions, which actually enables these solutions. And this is just a example. Now this is I've taken another example of a 5G for manufacturing for use case in automotive industry, where we are again doing digital supply chain solution, which is a part of smart logistics. We have digital services, we have digital productions, and we have digital operations. So all these things, including drone, you have smart MRO, all these things need a very, very robust infrastructure of network, which is high throughput, low latency, and is able to support the customer business needs. Now, this is what we give as a bundled product to our clients, this is what we tell them. That, to reach that journey is like what we have already talked about is several sections. But this is a 3-tier architecture where we are not only just giving them in-house private connectivity, but we are globally connecting their sites so that they can enable the connectivity advantage across the globe. So this is a 3-tier architecture where you see that one side it becomes with the smart devices, all the IoT, all the AR, VR lenses, small drones, all the devices, which collects the data. It connects to the 5G RAN. It can be a 5G hotspot or it can be a millimeter base station. And then, comes the enterprise stack. Now, this is where Tech Mahindra actually builds that stack. And then, we get connected to a core. And that core can be built on a robust SD-WAN environment, which takes the traffic globally to the various sites. And if you see that their enterprise cloud is hosted on a cloud, because Tech Mahindra has their own core in which we have all the network-to-network interface with all the major players, cloud service providers, where we can host their application as a central, or if that's the need, that we can also do a migrate to a required platform. Now, if you see that once we take the traffic from one particular factory, then we are making and enabling the customer, which is about connecting various sites. So this is like one example of one particular site. Then it is connected to plant A, plant B, and that's where